Welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another historic rebuild, and today we have the 2017-18 Minnesota Timberwolves. So this was the first and only full season that Jimmy Butler played in Minnesota. This Minnesota Timberwolves team really just did not fit together that well. Jimmy Butler has literally gone on record stating that Minnesota really didn't seem like they wanted to win. Now, Jimmy Butler came over in a trade, obviously, from the Chicago Bulls. Bulls went ahead and acquired Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, number 7 overall pick in that 2017 draft, which turned into Lauri Markkanen. So Jimmy played a year here in Minnesota. I think he played 10 games the following season for Minnesota, and then obviously got traded to Philadelphia. Now in Miami, obviously doing some really good things there. But the Jimmy Butler era in Minnesota as a Timberwolves really is not that memorable. And we're going to see if we can rewrite history today, potentially make this this kind of relationship work out, and maybe see if we can get this Timberwolves team a championship. And as always, let me know any other video ideas you guys do have down below in the comment section. Obviously, we are slowly approaching 2K24, and we are basically on a shot clock in terms of videos that are left for 2K23. So anything you guys really want to see, make sure to let me know down below in the comment section. I will definitely be keeping an eye out and seeing if there's anything you guys really want. Because off the top of my head, I don't have much left in the tank for 2K23. I'm basically out of ideas, and I'm pretty much mentally moved on to 2K24. But obviously, I'm not going to go a week without videos. So I am excited for 2K24, though, but we do have to wrap up 2K23, including today's rebuild. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Let's get into it. All right, so this will just be a normal kind of 3-season rebuild, typically the way I kind of always do them, especially for these historic rebuilds. So let's just dive into this Timberwolves roster in all of its glory. We'll go position by position, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts. So Derrick Rose at an 85 overall is nice to see. Obviously, Derrick Rose was not in his prime at any point in this situation in Minnesota, but at 85 overall is nice, is on a one-year deal. We're going to kind of see what we want to do with him. I love D Rose. He's one of my favorite players to watch when in their primes, and yeah, I mean, just at this point, I don't know if it would be smart to kind of commit to him as a long-term option. So we'll see. Jeff Teague is here, also 29 years old, 81 overall. Maybe a little bit more of a serviceable backup, but he is making quite a bit of money. So we're going to have to make a decision. We want to pay a backup point guard that much money. We will see. The shooting guard spot is an interesting one. Tyus Jones is here. He's listed as a shooting guard. I feel like he's more of a point guard, but he's 6 feet tall. And at a 77 overall at 21 years old, he's not a terrible option. Again, I don't necessarily think he's a starter on a championship team. We'll see. We have Jamal Crawford here, who's 37. Jamal Crawford had an illustrious NBA career. I don't know how many more years his career went after this stint with Minnesota. I'm not going to pretend that I do either, but I can't imagine it was much further. Marcus Georges-Hunt, is he Villanova? No, Georgia Tech. I don't know why I must be thinking of somebody else. But yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to be a very viable option. Let's be honest. Obviously, Jimmy Butler here at the small forward spot. He's on a 2-year, $40 million deal. I have no plans of moving on from him. This is kind of like a Jimmy Butler Timberwolves rebuild, so we're going to see if we can hopefully work this one out. Shabazz Muhammad is here. Would he really have only been 23 at this time? I feel like he would have been a little bit older. I think so. Anyways, I don't know. Andrew Wiggins is here. He's 22. Andrew Wiggins' time in Minnesota obviously never worked out as well as, you know, they probably would have hoped. End of the day, Andrew Wiggins is an NBA champion, and he locked up my favorite superstar, so I'm not getting into it. Taj Gibson is here, good veteran presence, and then Nemanja Bjelica here as well at 29 years old, a good stretch 4, if you will. Center spot, we have Karl Anthony Towns. This is obviously great. Hopefully he can go ahead and develop very, very well. Karl Anthony Towns, especially at a really young age, was a really, really good center, and he still is a really good center. I don't want people to think that I don't think he's a really solid player, but that superstar potential that a lot of people thought he had, I don't think he's ever quite getting to that level, especially for a former number 1 overall pick. We will see. We have Gorgie Jang here as well, and then Justin Patton. So there's definitely some flexibility with this roster. There are definitely also going to have to be some pretty big decisions made. So I don't know exactly which direction we're going to go yet, but there probably will be a trade. Probably more than one as well. So let's get into those. Our first trade is going to be a pretty big one, and it's going to be coming here with the Memphis Grizzlies. We're sending them Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson for Mike Conley and 40 overall Dillon Brooks. I'm guessing the creator of this roster is not a big Dillon Brooks fan. I don't know if there are Dillon Brooks fans out there. But yeah, Mike Conley is 30, so in terms of age, he's a year older than Derrick Rose, obviously making more money. But longevity-wise, Mike Conley's playing at an elite level right now. I mean, basically 29 points, 4.5 rebounds, almost 11 assists a game. He's definitely playing at a higher level than Derrick Rose is. And that's not even to say that Derrick Rose has been playing bad. We just all know that fall off is coming. So I hate to be that guy. I don't want to trade a fan favorite in Derrick Rose, but I'm going for an upgrade. 2 overalls higher. I think he's a better long-term option. So, obviously, in real life, Mike Conley ends up in Minnesota anyways. He played this past year in Minnesota. And, yeah, I'm excited to have Mike Conley on this team. We don't even have to give up a draft pick. And we potentially have our point guard for the entirety of this video. Feels like a pretty good first trade. Next trade here is going to be coming with the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to be sending them Jeff Teague, Justin Patton, and a future second-round pick. We're going to be acquiring Chris Middleton and Matthew Dellavedova. Now, obviously, Jimmy Butler is going to be our starting small forward. Chris Middleton also listed as a small forward. I'm going to move one of them to the shooting guard spot. It's not really going to be that big of a deal. We're also going to acquire Dellavedova. He's going to be the new backup, obviously behind newly acquired Mike Conley. So, long run, this one makes complete sense to me. Jeff Teague is, I don't even think he's in the league anymore. And obviously, Chris Middleton just got a massive extension. He's playing, well, not great, but you know what I'm saying. Welcome to the team. We only give up a second-round pick. Another deal that feels really, really good to me. So, in terms of who's getting moved to the shooting guard spot, I mean, Jimmy was technically a shooting guard in Chicago, I think. His overall doesn't really change. What happens to Middleton? He goes down. All right, we'll play Jimmy at the 2. I'm not necessarily too worried about it. I think they'll honestly all kind of fit together perfectly fine. And if they don't, we're obviously going to figure it out, and we'll probably make a trade at some point. But, yeah, I think this roster has gotten better overall-wise. I mean, in terms of the actual overall of, like, Chris Middleton, 82, 83, it's obviously not, great or kind of what it is now, but it's definitely, I can work with it, and he's 26 years old. So I'm excited to see what happens there. In terms of, like, Jamal Crawford, I mean, again, he's a good veteran to have, but that just doesn't really matter as much here in 2K as it would in real life. So I might have a trade on the horizon, especially considering he is a one-year deal, but everything else, we basically have the starter and the backup figured out except for the shooting guard spot. So let's look at some offers for Jamal Crawford. He is 1 star in trade value, and we have 1 offer, and it is from the Pelicans. Does anybody want, like, Marcus George's Hunt? I mean, I don't need him either, quite honestly, and we have 1 offer, and it's from the Pelicans. And it's not a good one. Oh, man. Okay. Dylan Brooks, any interest? No, didn't think so. All right, how about if I just include a couple seconds? Because if there's any way for me to get a first with just including seconds, oh, my God. Nobody wants Jamal Crawford. Honestly, that's kind of disrespectful, but then again, I am the one trying to trade him. But I'll do the same thing with Marcus George's Hunt. I'm not bringing him back. Let's just be honest with each other. And, yeah, I'm not giving up a first. Anybody want to give me a first? Thank you very much, Houston. All right, that's fine by me. Let's go ahead and set the rotation. We'll just have the veteran presence coming off the bench, not getting into minutes. After some pretty big trades to start out year 1, we have finally come to the rotation. We are here, and everything is honestly looking pretty good. Everything feels like it's on the up and up, and I am very excited to see how this team kind of fits together, and hopefully it goes a little bit better, obviously, than it did in real life. So Mike Conley going to be our starting point guard, newly acquired, followed by Jimmy Butler, moves to the shooting guard spot, not a big deal. Chris Middleton here at the 3, playing Wiggins at the 4, and Karl-Anthony Towns at that center spot. So we have a couple guys maybe a little bit out of their kind of natural position. I don't really think it's going to be too big a deal. Again, we'll start to see how it's maybe looking come off-season time. Tyus Jones is going to be leading the charge off the bench. Also, I'm sure there are people out there saying, why don't you just go ahead and move Tyus Jones to the point guard spot and have Jamal Crawford be your backup shooting guard? You don't even need Dellavedova. Well, honestly, I thought about that, and it's a very realistic option. But for me, I'm thinking long-term. I'm thinking longevity. I'm not going to go ahead and bring back Crawford after this season. He's probably going to retire, if we're being honest. And Dellavedova's on a multi-year deal. So that just really doesn't feel like that smart of a decision. But I do see where you're coming from, because I know somebody's thinking it. But Jones will be the 6th man, followed by Dellavedova. Then we got Nemanja Bjelica, Shabazz Muhammad, and Gorgui Dieng. So by no means is it the greatest bench in the world. Obviously, moving on from guys like Jeff Teague, we definitely sacrificed some of our bench, but we did improve the starting 5. So I am excited to see how this team kind of figures itself out, led by one of the coaches in NBA history. I will say that. It's the only nice thing I'm going to say about Tom Thibodeau. But he's here. I'm excited to see what happens year 1. This team in real life, I think, was an 8 seed, so hopefully we'll be a little better than that. See you guys at the end of the first season. Year 1 comes to an end, and we went 48-34. By no means is that a terrible record for year 1, especially with the bench that we have. It would have been great to have 50-plus wins, though. I think in real life, this team won 47 games. I think I could be off by a few, but they were an 8 seed, as I mentioned. I don't know where we are exactly. Russell Westbrook is your MVP, 0.5 rebounds off of a triple-double. Ben Simmons is your Rookie of the Year. D'Angelo Russell, 6th Man of the Year. He is in Brooklyn. Kawhi is your depoy in San Antonio. I believe this was his last season in San Antonio in real life. Emmanuel Mudiay, Most Improved. Damn shame his NBA career never really worked out. What was he number over? Yeah, he was number 7 overall in 2015. I had high hopes, man. I did. And Ty Lue wins Coach of the Year. In these rebuilds that LeBron's still in Cleveland, I mean, the Cavs are just absolutely unstoppable. It's insane. You see them win like 68, 70 games. I've done a bunch of these now at this point. It's mind-boggling. All right, so we have we're a 4 seed. I will take that. We are a 4 seed here. We have the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round of the playoffs. That just like seems like a series that would be on NBA TV. I'm not even going to lie. Here's a look at the Eastern Conference if you want to take a pause and take a look for yourself. In terms of the numbers on the year, Jimmy Butler led us in scoring, followed by Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mike Conley, Chris Middleton. Obviously 1 through 5 in our starting lineup. All guys that can score the basketball. There's not a lot of, well, I mean, Jimmy Butler definitely is, but maybe Mike Conley a little bit, but like defensive first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have like a PJ Tucker or a Draymond Green in our lineup. We have 5 guys who can score the basketball. Tyus Jones, Emmanuel Bjelica, Mohamed Dellavedova, Gorgui Dieng. In terms of rebounds, it was Karl-Anthony Towns and then Mike Conley. Nearly 10 assists. I will take it. All right, so round 1 here. It is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans, as I mentioned. Let's take a look. Rajon Rondo, Drew Holiday, Josh Smith, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins. This front court did not get enough time together. Obviously, that injury to DeMarcus Cousins kind of, I don't want to say was the start of the end of his career, but obviously it kind of went down a cliff shortly after that. So let's see what ends up happening here in round 1 against an absolutely insane front court. And yeah, we're down 3-0 right now, and we got swept. I mean, I guess that's kind of a problem when you have, you know, Andrew Wiggins trying to guard Anthony Davis. It just doesn't really feel like a fair matchup, but it is what it is. Let's sim through the rest of the playoffs right now. I'm imagining, oh, wow. Wow, good for James Harden and the Houston Rockets. And Chris Paul, oh my God, that's how you know this game's unrealistic. I would have thought for sure that this Golden State team would be in the finals, and we would just have, was this, yeah, this was the final season of Cavs versus Warriors. What we had, 4 straight seasons? Wow, that's insane to think about. All right, player retirements. They always put Kobe in these. It's weird. Jamal Crawford does call it a career. I mean, again, I think it was probably worth it. I think we made the right decision. Maybe could have changed some things for the playoffs, but I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. In terms of staff retirements, nothing I'm seeing there. Really, Kobe's Hall of Fame. I mean, surprise, surprise. Jersey retirements going to be Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas, historic changes. Let's see. Yes. And they're changing some things. Anything for us? I'm not seeing anything for the Timberwolves, so nothing for us. All right, let's take a look at the draft lottery. This is going to be the 2018 NBA draft. Luka Doncic, Trae Young. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this draft. And I don't think we're going to have a lottery pick unless, oh my God, that Cavs pick. The Cavs have the Brooklyn pick because obviously the Celtics did originally, and that traces back to the Kyrie Irving trade. And yeah, the Cavs are going to end up with Luka Doncic, in all honesty, while probably retaining LeBron James. Great. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm not a fan of Tibbs. I'm going to fire him. I'm going to go out. Rick Carlisle's an assistant right now with the Clippers. Has some pretty good ratings. I just don't think they're going to let me try to go out and get him. I'll make an offer at Jacob Underwood. I've gotten him in the past, and we've had some pretty good success. So, yeah, cool. Welcome to the team, Jacob Underwood. I think it's a better decision for us. All right, so let's head up to the draft. I don't know exactly what our pick situation is. I'm pretty sure we just have our own first, basically, and we do. It's at number 24, and it looks like a lot, pretty much all except for that Rockets pick in 2020 is just going to be our draft pick. So maybe a trade. I don't know. I mean, again, there are some options here if we wanted to go out and maybe make an upgrade. I mean, obviously we kind of have 1 and 2. We also got SGAs in this draft class. I forgot about that. I mean, there's some good players in this 2018 draft class. It's a really good class. Jalen Brunson's even here. I mean, we have options. I just don't know who is going to be there at 24, or if we really want to give up the assets to have to move up to get somebody super impactful. So we'll see. I'll either see you guys with a trade or in the draft. The Chicago Bulls own the number 5 overall pick, and I want it. Gorgui Dieng is making quite a bit of money for the caliber of player that he is. I don't mean that as a shot. It's just the facts. And this is the 24th overall pick, and I'd like to see if we can get number 5. Do I think they're going to take this straight up? Not a God's chance in hell. But I'm going to try to work on some sort of deal without giving up a ton of assets. You can take as many second-round picks as you want. I'll hand them out like M&Ms. I mean, it really does not matter to me. How about one more second? Will that do it? How about a deal? Nope. All right, so I'm probably going to have to give up at least one more first. How about in 2022? Will you do that? That's actually only 1 star in 2022. How about my first next year? I think we'll be good. So that's a 1.5 stars. They still won't do that, which means what we're going to have to do, and it kind of sucks, is we're going to have to go kind of team by team until somebody has 1, the cap space, and 2 is kind of stupid enough to accept it. So Clippers, you want to do that? Thank you very much. All right, so 6th overall selection. We'll just sit here and see what ends up happening. Luka is now in Cleveland. He's going to be pairing and teammating up with LeBron, I guess. Scary as hell to think about. Number 2, Trae Young is a Laker. God damn. Number 3, DeAndre Ayton goes to Atlanta. I'm pretty sure the Hawks uniforms had updated by that point, but good job, 2K. Triple J going to Dallas. Can you imagine in a hypothetical that they, had Luka? I don't know. Maybe they had 2 top picks. I don't fucking know. And then number 5 is Mo Bamba. All right, we didn't really lose much value there. But in terms of who we are looking at here, obviously SGA ended up, I mean, you can maybe make, you can make a strong argument, actually, that SGA is currently better than Trae Young. He is. I mean, I don't think there's much conversation there. You can get into a conversation between Jalen Brunson and Trae Young. I think the Trae Young kind of disrespect and discourse has got a little bit out of hand. I think Trae Young's a lot better than a lot of people think he is, but I would definitely rather have SGA right now. And quite honestly, I think he's going to be my pick. I mean, taking the best player available feels like a smart move to me. So SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, welcome to Minnesota. In terms of his role, I have no idea what it is going to be. But he's a 77 overall, and I definitely do hope to develop him. So Towns coming back. Jones is going to be coming back as well. Qualifying offers, definitely got to qualify Andrew Wiggins. Not a chance in hell I'm qualifying 40 overall Dylan Brooks. No thank you. All right, so let's take a look at this free agency class. You have Kevin Durant. With this, yes, this would have been the offseason. No. Yeah, no. We were one away. We're one away because KD obviously, well, the Warriors played in that finals against the Raptors anyways. KD didn't play in much of it, but yes, KD, yes. Okay, cool. I have my math figured out right now. I'm doing a lot of math in my head. All right, in terms of our, kind of cap space, we don't really have a lot. There's not really anybody out there that we can go out and sign. I mean, we just don't have money. There's a lot of players on this team. One that kind of needs some contracts, and two that are making a lot of money. So we're going to have some decisions to make, and I'll obviously be back with you guys once we make some of those decisions. We're going to be pulling off a really big trade here with the Phoenix Suns, and it is one that definitely looks like we're losing at the moment, but I think we all know in the long run it's going to be one that is going to get us a lot better. We're going to be sending Mike Conley, Chris Middleton, and a future first in 2020 to Phoenix. We are going to be acquiring Devin Booker and Josh Jackson. By the way, Josh Jackson having 3.5 stars in value. I mean, obviously, we kind of know how that worked out. It's just kind of funny to see. But, yeah, Josh Jackson will not be staying on this team. If he's 3.5 stars, we will definitely be trading him. He's 2.5 there. But nonetheless, this feels like a good deal. Devin Booker's playing already at an elite level. And, yeah, I would definitely like him on this team. So, in terms of how this is going to work out, Jimmy's basically just going to move back to the 3. Really no surprises there. I am going to have to make a decision on what I want to do with Andrew Wiggins. I mean, I think I'll probably keep him for at least one more season, obviously re-sign him. But again, it's going to have to be a tough decision because Andrew Wiggins really isn't a traditional 4, and we don't really have one on the roster right now. So Devin Booker, obviously very excited to have him here. 2 members of the 2015 draft class, him and Karl Anthony Towns. So the team's coming together quite nicely. In terms of Josh Jackson, I don't need you. I mean, you're 21 and you're probably not going to be that good. Let's be honest with each other. I can get Hassan Whiteside that easily. That's fucking insane. I wouldn't mind trying to go out and try to get a couple bench pieces if anybody wants to give me a couple of those. Like Steven Adams and Andre Roberson honestly isn't even terrible. Like that would actually really bolster our bench. Could get Jeff Teague back. Did I see one for Buddy Hield? I did. Buddy Hield and Zach Randolph. You know what? Screw it. Let's do this. We're going to really bolster the bench. We're going to go out. We're going to get Buddy Hield. We're going to get Zach Randolph. I'm going to move Randolph just because 37 years old. It's not really that intriguing for me. Any other players out there? No, not really. All right, I'll just take a first from the Clippers. That's fine. It is what it is. Zach Randolph's not going to be good next year. All right, so at this point in time, my one focus is obviously bringing back Andrew Wiggins, who does have 4 offers. I will wait until after the moratorium period. Bielitsa can go. I'm really kind of ready to just kind of clear out this bench. So I'll wait on Wiggins. We're going to give him a real contract. Does he have a real one yet? No, he does not. And then the final day here, free agency, we're just going to go ahead. We will sign him. Let's just do like 24.5 AAV. That feels good to me. All right, welcome back, Andrew Wiggins. Excited to have you here. You're going to obviously be our starting power forward. And at this point in time, it is probably time to figure out our point guard situation. I mean, I definitely could start SGA. I think that's an option. I don't know. Obviously, I kind of left a hole when you go ahead and trade 2 starters for kind of 1 starter, but I think that was worth it for me. But I think it's probably makes the most sense for me to start SGA. So he'll probably be starting. I think Tyus Jones is probably just going to get moved to the backup spot because Dellavedova, not saying he's like super old or anything. I think in terms of potential, though, I think I'll take Jones. So he actually goes up to an 81 overall if you move him. That feels like a home run to me. I'll see you guys with the Dellavedova trade. We're making this trade here with Miami. We're sending them Matthew Dellavedova straight up for Kelly Olynyk. In terms of the money and the age, it is not really that far off. Obviously, the same exact overall. And, yeah, good Call of Duty updated. Don't play that anymore. But, yeah, very excited to have Kelly Olynyk on this team. Obviously, good to get another stretch big behind Towns who can obviously space the floor himself. And now we need to figure out some sort of backup situation here. I honestly might not even get a backup for Jimmy. Who the hell is... Oh, my God. What? Did they make a second JJ Redick and name him JJ Malpractice? Who is the petty asshole that made this roster? I mean, I love you. That's hilarious. But, like, what? Oh, that's so funny. That is just so funny. All right, I'm going to bring in Norman Powell. I think he's a good backup small forward option. I know I said I might not get Jimmy a backup, but honestly, Norman Powell feels like the best option there. That's so funny. That's just too good. And then, honestly, I'll just bring back Bielitsa, another guy that can space the floor a little bit. It feels fine to me. And he's a little bit younger than Ariza, who was my other option. So, Yeah, I mean, this team's interesting. Obviously, some young talent, some guys that are some veterans at this point, but overall wise, I think we got younger as a whole. I think we got better as a whole. I'll see you guys at the start of year 2. Now here in year 2 in Minnesota, new head coach and new look to this roster. It is going to be very interesting to see how this team kind of fits together, plays together, and hopefully wins together, because we made some pretty big changes. Entirely new backcourt with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Devin Booker. I mean, quite honestly, if you look at the NBA today, Devin Booker probably, not really arguably, I think is best shooting guard in all of basketball and SGA, probably top 3-point guard at the worst, so maybe 4. Yeah, maybe 4. But SGA, obviously incredible. Devin Booker, incredible. They're just a little bit young at this point in time, so develop quickly. Jimmy Butler going to be here as our starting small forward. Obviously brought back Wiggins as our 4. And then Karl-Anthony Towns still locking down that center spot. Bench unit is going to be led by Buddy Hield. We brought in some reinforcements to come off the bench like Buddy Hield. Obviously retaining Tyus Jones was big. New addition here with Norman Powell. We brought back Bjelica. And we traded for Kelly Olynyk. So I'm excited to see how this team kind of fits together. Again, man, I mean, I don't know if we're championship contenders right now, but I don't think we're necessarily too far away. I will see you guys at the end of year number 2. 59-23 here in our second season in Minnesota. Obviously, that is a significant improvement. I think that's a 12-game improvement, and we're hoping we can gear up for a very long and very successful playoff run. LeBron James stays in Cleveland. He wins the MVP award, and yeah, he has a new teammate, Luka Doncic, that probably wants to keep him there as well. Trae Young's your rookie of the year in Los Angeles. Andre Roberson, 6th man of the year. Andre Roberson is not exactly known for scoring the basketball, but all around, pretty well seasoned except for the 3-point percentage and the free throw percentage. That's pretty tricky, but nonetheless, good for you. Rudy Gobert is your defensive player of the year. I know those Jazz uniforms are definitely old at that point. Crazy to see. Kobe Simmons, most improved. And Ty Lue, coach of the year. Yeah, you know, Luka and LeBron together, 67 wins feels about fair. Maybe even like the floor. Feels like the ceiling is like 80. I don't really know. Here's a look at the standings. We tied the Warriors for the 1 seed here in the West. They had the tiebreaker, so we are going to be the 2 seed. We were 33-8 at home. Just beautiful. And here's a look at the West. Here's a look at the Eastern Conference. Feel free to pause. All right, here is the numbers on the season. Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, Buddy Hield, SGA. It's not a terrible rookie campaign. Again, I'm going to have him take a next step. 1, if he wants to remain the starter, and 2, if he definitely wants to help lead us to a championship, because I don't know if 9 points is really going to do it for me in terms of battling for a Western Conference championship and hopefully an NBA championship. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Al-Farouq Aminu, Zach Collins, and Yusuf Nurkic is going to be the starting 5 here for the Portland Trailblazers. And, yeah, I mean, I think we're better. I do. I think they might have the best player in the series. Oh, my God. Really? Wow. Wow. All right, this is going to be a tricky one for me. Who played well and who sucked? Jimmy was fine. Towns, Booker, Wiggins, you sucked. Shea, you... Oh, God. All right, so, again, a decision's going to have to be made this offseason. I mean, to give them credit, Portland made it all the way to the finals, but there's just no excuse to losing to that team. It's just, no. All right, LeBron wins another finals MVP. They sweep Portland, and, yeah, it's time for the final offseason. Tony Parker calls it a career. Trevor Ariza, Tony Allen, Livingston Richardson. Darko calls it a career. Holy shit. Anderson Varejao, staff retirements, and then Hall of Fame, Carmelo Anthony. You're telling me Tony Parker is not a Hall of Famer? Well, he is in real life. All right, jersey retirements. Melo, Parker, and Melo again. So Denver retires his number. Interesting. Historic. Coach's challenge, yes. All-star game after 3 quarters. The team, yep. Top 4 picks, random draw. No, that's not. No, the entire lottery is still a lottery. It's just the top 3 teams, I think, all have the same odds at the number 1 pick. So we're not going to do that. Or top 4 teams, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, cool. All right, they're changing some things for Miami, for Houston, for Phoenix, Golden State. Nothing for us. All right, let's hit the draft lottery real quick. Not going to be anything. Oh, wow, we have that Clippers pick. I'm pretty sure it's protected, but we'll see nonetheless. Actually, we do. We have it at number 13, which is cool. Maybe could include it in some sort of trade. I don't know exactly what that would be. I'm good with Jacob Underwood. That's a tricky season for us, but nonetheless, I think he's a good head coach. So, the 13th overall pick is obviously not nothing. This is the 2019 draft class. This is Zion Williamson, and this is John Morant, and, yeah. I don't know why every time I see this, it's stupid. I mean, like, this is, like, the 2K-generated 2019 draft class. Like, you can download this yourself, like, from 2K. Like, I didn't download this from some schmuck sitting in his mother's basement. Like, 2K made this, and they put in a person who's just not real. It's very, very strange. I don't know why they do that. Like, I get, like, you can put in, like, filler players who aren't real. Number 1, don't make them, like, top 3 prospects. And second, like, don't make it Kobe Bryant Jr. Like, just give them some random name. I don't know. Just feels a little bit weird, but obviously we are going to go ahead and we have that 13th pick. I mean, for who we're going to draft at that pick, I have no idea. Honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see who's available there at number 13. If there's anybody really good, I'll obviously take them. And, yeah, I mean, like, Nick Claxton could be a decent option in terms of getting, like, a defensive-minded backup center. Maybe a little bit of fire and ice between him. Ooh, DeAndre Hunter's here. Between him and Karl-Anthony Towns. But other than that, ooh, Keldon Johnson is here. Yeah, I mean, Keldon Johnson would be a good pick. I just don't know if we really need him. Like, I think I'll probably take the defense right now of probably Nick Claxton over him. So we're going to take Claxton. Maybe he's in a trade. Maybe we end up keeping him. I have no idea. But we're going to have him nonetheless. He's 74 overall. All right, in terms of team player options, Jimmy declines. We're bringing back Buddy Hield. Definitely important for me to re-sign Jimmy Butler. This video is basically over if we do not do that. And, yeah, I think it's pretty important we go out and try our best. So we do have some money here in free agency, but it's all going to be tied. Oh, my God. Okay, yeah. Also, why are these guys unrestricted? They should both be restricted. Shit, yeah. Let's just make sure we get everybody here back and make sure everybody's happy because for some reason Karl-Anthony Towns and Devin Booker are unrestricted when they really probably should not be. So, yes, we get them all back. Cool. All right, I also got to make sure I get Tyus Jones back. He's a very important piece of this team, and after that we can kind of figure out the rest of the roster. But, yeah, very, very strange that that Karl-Anthony Towns and Devin Booker would be unrestricted there. So, nonetheless, they're back. Not a big deal, but excited to have them here. And, yeah, I mean, we just got to make a decision. Do we think SGA can be a point guard that kind of leads us to a championship in our final year? Because we haven't won a round of the playoffs yet, and we're hoping to win a championship. So, I don't know. A decision will be made. We're going to have to do something. So, I'll see you guys with a move. Well, we're going to try to pull off maybe the impossible. I have no idea why Giannis is only an 89 at this point. Giannis, don't get me wrong, probably wasn't as good as he is today in this point, but, like, he's still really, really good. And, yeah, the fact that Giannis is, like, 4 stars and probably gettable is kind of crazy to me. But, yeah, I think Giannis would definitely kind of help this team go over the hump and, quite honestly, take whatever you want because I want him, and I'm going to go get him. Seriously, why are all these picks only 1 star? Okay, I don't know, but we went out and we traded for Giannis, who I will now be moving to the power forward spot. And, yeah, I mean, there's really no debate. This is like a home run deal for me. He's probably, like, at worst, he's a top 3 player in the league right now. At worst. I think I have him number 2 on my list behind Nikola Jokic, but that's just what I'm going to label him as. So, yeah, we added Giannis Antetokounmpo to this team. And, yeah, I mean, we're going to give some leeway to SGA here. Hopefully he develops well heading into next season. But, yeah, I think the reinforcements of Giannis should definitely help a ton. And other than that, I mean, maybe besides getting a little bit younger with Bjelica, that definitely could be an option. Any free agents here that I have any interest in? You know what? I'm going to get a little cheesy, a little bit scummy. We're going to try to bring in J.R. Smith, and I'm going to include him in a little bit of a bigger trade. Yeah, it's a little scummy, but you know what? It's the final year, and this team hasn't won a playoff series yet, so I don't really see another choice and another way to go about this. So, yeah, we're going to do him, Bjelica, and the final second-round pick we have remaining. And I need a power forward. Jay Crowder, good stretch 4. Could be an option for me. Kevin Knox, no. Jarrett Allen I could bring in. I mean, he's just not really a power forward, but John Lure, that's a throwback. Didn't you get a fat bag from the Pistons? Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to bring in Jay Crowder. That's fine by me. I think Jay Crowder is serviceable enough at only 29 years old. So, yeah, man, Giannis is obviously a huge addition. Crazy we were able to go out and get him, but I'm very, very happy to have him here nonetheless. I'll see you guys at the start of, year number 3. I'll say this team's absolutely insane, but we got to keep in mind, it's still only the 2019-2020 season. Not all of these guys have obviously reached their full potential, and not all of these guys are as good as they are today. Now, that being said, this team is fucking bananas. I mean, there's just no logical argument that shows me that this team shouldn't win at all, besides maybe SGA, and I fully expect him to be better. So, yeah, this is insane. I mean, that's just it. SGA, Devin Booker still the backcourt. Obviously, Jimmy Butler still here at the 3. New addition and new acquisition of Giannis Antetokounmpo going to be our power forward. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, obviously, still as our center. Bench unit's going to be led by Buddy Hield, Jay Crowder, Tyus Jones, Norman Powell, and Nick Claxton. So, I mean, there's just really nothing else I can say. I mean, we have the talent, obviously. I mean, let's think about this. I mean, what is this? Yeah, that's 5 All-Stars. That's 5 All-Stars. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It's 5 All-Stars, and in terms of, like, superstars, I would say 3 there minimum in terms of superstars, probably 4. That's just the way I look at it. I'll see you guys at the end of the final season. We go 72-10 to wrap up our 3rd and final season, as it is yet another MVP for LeBron James. But 72-10 is great. That ties the 2nd best record in NBA history, and we are hoping to have a long playoff run. We have yet to do that, and Yeah, it would be nice too. Zion Williamson is in Sacramento. He is your Rookie of the Year. Harrison Barnes, Sixth Man of the Year in Dallas. Rudy Gobert, back-to-back deep poise. Malik Beasley, Most Improved. Jacob Underwood, Coach of the Year. That's great. All high and well, and it is great. Wow. We won 72 games, as I mentioned. Not a single other team won 50 or 60. That's crazy. Here's a look at the East. This is it. It's just like the simplest way to say that, like, you got to go out and you got to win the damn thing. I mean, there's just no other logical explanation. We have a literal fucking all-star team as our starting five. Let's see what we can do. We have Utah here in round one. It is going to be Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, PJ Tucker, Rudy Gobert. I do not know why they have not updated those Jazz uniforms. Don't care. We win in 5. We're on to the Western Conference semifinals. Russell Westbrook, Terrence Ferguson, Roberson. All right, so no more Paul George, or actually... No, Paul George have ever been traded to? I don't know. Were we a year behind the time Paul George got traded to? Oh, I have no fucking idea. We sweep them nonetheless, and we are taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Dennis Smith Jr., Dwayne Wade is in Dallas. Kawhi Leonard is in Dallas. Triple J, Nerlens Noel. You got Barnes off the bench. Iman Shumpert, Jeremy Lamb. It's a pretty good bench right there. All right, let's see if we can dethrone. I don't even want to say dethrone Dallas. They haven't done shit yet. And, okay, hang on a damn minute. Thank you. And we are going to be taking on LeBron James. And, oh my God, you have Luka coming off the bench? What? You know, I say this before. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's not really a quote. I kind of just say it myself. But there are decisions in this world. Having Luka off the bench, not a wise one. But let's go ahead and see if we can maybe get the best of LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. And we're down 3-0. Yeah, I mean, that's not great. I mean... We have a literal all-star team as our starting five, but this game loves LeBron James. You know what? We're going to lose, and I don't really care that we're going to lose. I want to get some shots up. We're going to get swept, which is just kind of crazy when you take a look at both these teams, but that's 2K for you. What are you going to do? But this team's too good not to get some gameplay with, so see you guys in there. All right, we're here in Cleveland. Not my typical gameplay, as I'm sure many of you know. I typically only hop in, get some... Oh, my God, Jimmy Butler is getting absolutely shredded. Okay, hang on. This feels weird. Why do the controls feel weird? Yeah, I mean, typically I only get gameplay when I'm actually going to win something, and obviously right now I'm not going to, which sucks. Why? What is up with the controls right now? I have no idea, but it feels like I'm like overrunning and overcommitting to everything, which typically isn't how 2K feels. LeBron, free throw jumper is good. I mean, I'm not saying that LeBron James isn't the best player in this series. He obviously is. Okay, I do not want Karl Anthony Towns handling the ball. LeBron's obviously the best player in this series. That's a fact. There's really not arguing that at this point, but like... Getting swept with Tristan Thompson on this team, like, I find that hard to believe. Like, I know SGA, and I know the majority of these players, like, aren't in their prime. Like, Giannis isn't in his prime. Booker's not there yet. Hell, Towns probably isn't even there yet. Obviously, SGA isn't there yet. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, a sweep feels a little weird. Like, I feel like we're the better team. Never mind the fact that they're bringing Luka off the bench. Like, I don't know if it's a situation, like, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. You just bring him off the bench to kind of call him a sixth man, but, like, I don't know. It feels very, very strange, and I thought we were too good, and I guess not, though. So, my mistake. I tried my best, and I think we built a pretty good team. Unfortunately, it's kind of not the way it's going to go for us today. I guess the cards weren't in our favor, as they say, but we built an insane team, and overall, I enjoyed this one. I mean, again, who obviously would never have looked anything remotely close to this, but just imagine if, you know, Jimmy Butler in Minnesota kind of worked itself out. I mean, Jimmy Butler never would have obviously had that 76ers team that was just so damn good in 2019 that, quite honestly, probably should have made it to at least a conference finals. But Kawhi Leonard had some other plans. But again, crazy to think about like these five ever being together on the same court. Now we're just playing extremely, extremely well. And I hate that that's only happening once we hop into the game because I'm fucking terrible at this game. And there's no reason why the game... I should be playing better than the CPU because I'm terrible at this. But yeah, I mean, I guess Luka and LeBron is just too much, even if they are bringing Luka off the bench. Like, I would get it if, like, Kyrie Irving was still here and, like, Kevin Love was still in his prime and Tristan Thompson, if we even want to call what Tristan Thompson had a prime. Tristan Thompson was good. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, like, there's 5 All-Stars in this starting 5. And again, they're not all All-Stars right now, but, like, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. It's probably wrong, and I'm sure some of you will disagree with me, but just the way I'm kind of seeing it right now. Let's work the low post here. Devin Booker, little fade. Oh my God, good move right there on Luka Doncic. Little behind the back, little action. How are you? All right, we'll do one more offensive possession, hopefully here after Jimmy clamps up LeBron. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just what I'm hoping happens. And Yeah, man. Crazy to see. I mean, I guess I'll just chat about it real quick. We are very slowly but surely running out of 2K23 rebuilds, so I'll say this so I don't say in the outro. I mean, if there's anything you guys, like, really, really want to see that, like, you've, you know, either commented for... Also, why is Giannis running the point? That you've either, like, commented for a while or, like, just really, really need to see before 2K24, just let me know. You can always DM me on Twitter as well. It's just... Again, I think it would be good to kind of get, like, all these challenges and, like, historic throwback rebuilds. Oh, my God, Giannis. Kind of out of the way before 2K24, because we're going to be doing a lot of regular rebuilds at that point. So, anyways, this one's over. We're going to end up getting swept, which sucks, but is what it is. LeBron's going to win another Finals MVP, and, yeah, sucks, man. We end up getting swept. That's not typically the way this thing goes. LeBron wins another Finals MVP, and we end this video with no championships. We don't even win one game in the NBA Finals. Again, as I mentioned, obviously not everybody on this team, I've said this 85 times now, but, like, they're not, like, the players they are today. Like, Jimmy Butler, I mean, you can make an argument he's still playing well, but, like, he's probably better today, even though he's a little bit older than he is today. And age-wise, most guys would be in their prime at this point. Jimmy Butler's still very good. I don't want to say that, but, like, you get what I'm saying. Booker's not in his prime yet. Giannis probably isn't quite there yet, but even then, wasn't Giannis an MVP candidate in 2019? Did he win MVP in 2019? Holy shit, he did. Didn't he? Because Giannis won back-to-back in 1920. Like 19 and 20. 21, 22 was Jokic, and 23 was Embiid. Giannis won a fucking MVP. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right, let's wrap this one up. I'm just going to get stressed and start yelling about more things like an old man. So hopefully you guys still enjoyed it. I thought we built a sick-ass team. I had a ton of fun with this one, and it was a fun rebuild overall. So as always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.